Okay, so this chart's going to show you where your growth might be bottlenecked, and it's not necessarily a marketing problem. Sometimes when you break down revenue, you can spot sort of concentration, like in this bottom chart here, which could be, there could be capacity risk, and also it'll show you, who is truly carrying the load. And so this bottom chart here, the reason why it's so concentrated is because those are your installers on the top. And so I just wanted to show these two charts, but it might be better to break it out by, installations versus other job types. And these formulas, you can do exactly that. So the first thing we want to do is we just want to see the average revenue by technician. And so the way we're going to do that is first we need the month here. So just type in the word month. And then underneath that, if you type January, you can drag it down to get to December. And then right here in the data set, you can see there's a date column, and then you need to pull out the month from that. And the way you can do that, I'll just redo it here, is by using the text function. So equals text, then go to the date cell, and then comma, and then 4 M's here. And then you can see now you have the month with the formula. Okay, so step one is we need to get the total revenue, net job revenue by month. So in other words, sum all of this where this is January, and then February, and then March, and then April. So the way we do that, we can just call this net revenue is with the SUMIFS function. So equals SUMIFS, and then the first argument is the sum range. So where's the data you're wanting to take the sum of? In this example, it's revenue, but it could be percentages, it could be, any numerical value. So SUMIF there. And then the next argument is the criteria range. So what is the criteria we're looking for? We're looking for, January, February, March. And so the criteria range is, what is the range with those months? So highlight that and then comma, and then click on January. And you can see for the month of January, there's 240,000 in revenue. Now, if you want to format this really quickly, you can just press Control Shift and the number 4 to make it $1, and then you can remove the decimals. Okay, so we have this, but now if we want to get the average revenue by technician, we need to know how many technicians worked in that month, right? So you don't just want a count of every technician in the data set, because you might have hired some people, you might have fired some people, so on and so forth. So, number of techs. And what you do here is we need to get the unique list of these names, a count of the unique list of these names by month. And you can do that with the filter function. So equals filter. So you filter this, the technician name, and make sure you highlight the column. Filter the technician name where you don't want to highlight this. You want to highlight the column of the table, not the whole column. And then where month. And so here you don't do a comma, you do an equals sign. So equals, and then you have January. And so you can see you have a list of everybody's name for January, but the first problem you're going to see is that there's duplicates, right? So you can see here you have, let's just find a duplicate. Like, okay, so Anthony's here twice. So we just want the unique list. And so you can wrap that with the unique function. And now you can see that there's 17. There's 17 people that worked for the month of January. So we want a count of that. So you can just do count A to get 17. And then you can just drag this down. And so you can see there's months where there's variations. And so now you want, average revenue per tech, which is simply this divided by this. And then you can drag that down. You can center it. And then if you want to remove some decimals, you can there. Okay, now to chart this, all you have to do is just highlight the month, hold down the control key, and then highlight the average revenue. You can go to insert, and then you can click line here. You can click recommended. Maybe you want a different type of chart, but we'll just do a line chart for now. Maybe make it black. So yeah, so that's how you do average revenue per tech. If you want the values here, you can add, data labels. Maybe you want to delete some and have, the high and the low, or however you want to do it. It gets a little bit noisy. But yeah, so that's how you do that. Okay. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to do the exact same thing, but based off of salesperson, and we want the salesperson the total revenue. And so if you go back to the unique function, like we did before to get the unique list of names, we want the same thing here, but we're going to add a sort functionality to it, because then it's going to sort the names A to Z. And so you can see it's sorting it this way. So then you can just press highlight everything, press Control C, and then Control Shift V, and you'll remove the formula tech name, and then you could say net revenue. And so it's the same formula essentially with SUMIFS. We're going to sum, the net job revenue, which is, after discounts, comma. But this time, instead of doing it by month, we're going to do it by technician name. And then comma. And then I'll just click here and then go up. And so now you have 44,000 in net revenue. One thing, instead of like pressing Control Shift 4 to make it a dollar value, I'll show you a little formatting trick. If you click on a cell that you want it to look like, you click here and then go to Home Format Painter, then it'll format it exactly like the ones above it. Or not just the ones above it, it'll format it, to be the exact same formatting. Okay, so now all we have to do from here is you can just click anywhere in here, because the data is next to each other. Like this one, we add data here and we add data here, but because these are next to each other, you can just click anywhere, go to Insert, Recommended Charts, and then we can do it like this. Like this, and do a clustered bar. And you can see right off the bat, it's a little bit, noisy. And so we'll do, net revenue by tech. Let's try that again. Net revenue by tech. Let's make it black. And one thing is, I'm going to sort this just so it doesn't look, like have the highest values in the middle. So we'll just sort smallest to largest. And what this does here, we need to, that gets a little bit weird because the formulas are off. Because whenever you sort, it makes it changes the formula sometimes. So we'll do B17 just like this, and we'll do it's actually good. I can show you a little trick. So equals rank. So you can rank this with this, and then you get the rank. And then Control C, Control Shift V. Second, why is that? That's sort of strange, because this is not. Oh yeah, no, now we're good. Okay, so now we have the net revenue by tech here, and if you stretch this out a little bit, you can see the axis will sort of clear up. The other thing that we want is we want to get the names here. We want all the names. And so if you click here and then go to Home, and then make this smaller, you can get all the names. Or maybe you don't, like some of these people, they could be new hires. But what this is showing is this revenue. These are, if you go back to the data set, these are all the installations. These are your installers. And that's why the revenue is so heavily distributed. So what you might want to do is break this out to have, just your net revenue by these. So net revenue by installer, by maintenance, by service, because it's different people in this data set. But anyways, so that's how you do this. That's how you can create, a clustered bar chart as well as a line chart. And there's a lot you can do with this data set if you want to play around with it, because we just did, sum of revenue, net revenue by tech name and by month. But if you wanted by system type, service area, it's all the same thing. It's the same formulas. So SUMIFS. And so, but if you have any questions on this, just let me know. You can shoot me an email, questions. I can't spell questions at databoards.io. If you want this file, there's going to be a link in the description. You can grab it. If you can't find the link, again, shoot me an email. Just tell me the name of the video. That way I know which file to send you. But that's all I got for this one, and I'll see you in future videos.